Hey, howdy, hey, welcome back to my channel. For today's video, we are going to be reviewing RuPaul's Drag Race UK versus the World, episode 4. So if that sounds good to you, make sure to hit that like button, comment down below, and hit that subscribe button. Come join the Amateur Hour community. And without further ado, let's get this video started. Alright. So, for today's video, we are going to be reviewing RuPaul's Drag Race UK versus the World, episode 4. This episode, I'm going to be real with you. I'm going to go and get this out. This will contain spoilers, obviously. This elimination was probably one of the most devastating eliminations I have seen on Drag Race in a very long time. From my perspective, I would just... it was such a heartbreaking elimination, and I'm just still shooken up by it. So, this episode was a lot, and we are going to be reviewing it, but I'm just giving you a heads up, I'm still shaken up a little bit by this elimination. It was very intense, and we'll get into it. But obviously the episode's starting out with the queens walking back into the workroom after the elimination of Jimbo. And they're reading Jimbo's mirror message, talking about Jimbo being in the competition, how they were a clear frontrunner, and how Pangina taking out Jimbo came off as very much a strategic move to many of the queens. But then you have Pangina explaining it, how she felt like Jimbo didn't necessarily do what they need to do for the challenge, which was a fair point. If you look at the Rusical, Jimbo... was one of the worst, but then again, Juju also could have gone home very easily if we were being real here. Anyways, yeah, I don't know. It was a weird moment. Then we get to the couch moment where they're also talking about it. People were still wanting badges. Yeah. Honestly, we're gonna get to the New Day where they're coming in, talking about badges, talking about the Jimbo elimination. And yeah, mostly I want to get to the Snatch Game part of this episode because this is a pretty good Snatch Game. Pretty good. But anyways, RuPaul comes in and introduces the main challenge where they're going to be doing Snatch Game. This time it's a team Snatch Game, so it's family style, if you will, almost like a Family Feud type thing. And Pangina gets to pick her team because she won last week. So Pangina is picks out her teammates and all the above. So the teams are going to be Pangina. Pangina picks Jujubee and Baga because those are some of the stronger competitors. Which, looking back at it, I don't really understand how the team aspect plays into it because it didn't necessarily. I don't know. We'll get into it, but I don't necessarily see how the team aspect played into the judging. We'll see later. But they pick out the teams. Now RuPaul comes in and does a walkthrough and talks to all the queens about what characters they have chosen. There are a few moments I want to talk about. Specifically, a few queens actually ended up changing their characters because of Ru's suggestions. For example, Mo Hart was originally going to do Gordon Ramsay. And then RuPaul comes in and basically tells her that she should do Billy Porter. So Mo takes that advice and takes that in. And then we get Janie also, who was debating between doing, I can't remember, someone related to Trisha Paytas, I think? Tan Mom? I'm not really sure who that is. Or James Charles. But is nervous because James Charles has some controversy attached to him. And that is a fair point. I would not necessarily have chosen James Charles. I also feel like James Charles is a pretty one-note character for the Snatch Game. And I don't know if there's enough jokes with James Charles to make a funny character. So that's one perspective that I have, at least, on that. But RuPaul's basically like, oh, just go for it. Just do the James Charles. Do it. It's fine. And then, obviously, Pangina tells Ru that she's doing Mariah Carey. We'll see. We'll get to that later. I love Pangina, but it was not the best Snatch Game. we'll get to that later. Jujubee tells Rue that she's going to do Cher. And my thing with Cher is so many queens have done Cher. I mean, obviously we have Chad Michaels, who is the queen of Cher. And then you also have the Vivienne, who does a really great Cher as well. So I feel like doing Cher might not have been the best choice. And also, I don't know if Juju necessarily knew enough about Cher to do Cher for Snatch Game. If that makes sense. Yeah, I think that's a fair statement. I don't think Juju knew enough about Cher to do Cher. Yeah. Then, of course, we get Baga, who's going to do Kathy Bates from... And then we get Baga, who's going to do Kathy Bates' characters from Misery. This was a really good choice, honestly. Like, I thought Baga did a really great job. She's stuck in character. Baga knows what she's doing when it comes to Snatch Game. Like, you know she's going to do well. It is what it is. And then, of course, we get Blue, who's going to do, Then we get Blue, who's going to do Austin Powers, which, again, another really smart choice. Blue knows what she's doing as well. Like, they both knew what they were doing in terms of character choice. So that all happens. Let's go ahead and get into the actual Snatch Game. In terms of the Snatch Game overall, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a pretty good Snatch Game. Some queens I think did really well, and some queens not as well. First team I'm going to talk about is Katie Price's team, which of course is going to be Pangina, Baga, and Juju. So first let's talk about Baga Chips. Baga Chips as Katie Price. This was honestly really, really great. I personally have not seen the movie that she's referring to, but I still thought Baga did a great job. It was interesting that Baga wasn't wearing any makeup. It seemed like Baga had a wig on, which I guess worked for the character. I don't know. Let me know what you think down below about that. Like, it was a fun character. I thought she did a really great job. She volleyed with Rue really well. Which, I mean, I feel like Baga knows what she's doing in terms of Snatch Game, like I said. So that was a really great time. And then, of course, we get Pangina as Mariah Carey. My thing with Mariah Carey is I think Mariah Carey can be a bit one note. And I don't necessarily know if that was the right choice. I understand Pangina is a really big Mariah Carey fan. But I still think she could have picked a different character. Maybe one that had a little bit more to them. Because I feel like if you are going to be doing Snatch Game, you need to have a character that can really volley back and forth with Rue. And I don't necessarily know if Mariah Carey was the right choice for that. And I think that was Pangina's big downfall. Yeah, that's what I'll say about that. And then, of course, we had Juju as Cher. Juju's Cher was funny. I did think Juju did a funny job as Cher. I don't necessarily think she knew enough about Cher, because it did feel a little bit one note. And when you have other queens who've done Cher on the show and done it much better... Wow, I can't say much... Okay, who have done much better than Juju did, it doesn't necessarily look as good as it needs to be. But at the same time, other queens did worse, so I mean, I guess it worked out in that. Sure. Then we get to Michelle Visage's team, of course. Which is going to which is going to have Jamie Jacquet as James Charles, Blue Hydrangea as Austin Powers, and Mo Hart as Billy Porter. So, for this group, let's go and get into it. First is Jamie Jacquet as James Charles. Alright. I love the idea. I would not have done James Charles, like I said earlier. I think James Charles is too one note for a character. I also don't think Janie knew James Charles well enough to do that. Because there are other references you could pull. You could do a, what was the whole, what the thing... Anyway, James Charles, I don't think Janie knew well enough, and I don't think it worked well enough. Flashback Mary. She could have done Flashback Mary jokes, she could have done stuff like that, and I feel like she didn't necessarily do enough to make the James Charles funny, and I think that was her problem. But again, let me know what you think down below. When it comes to Blue as Austin Powers, I thought this was great. This was bloody great. I really, really enjoyed it. I thought she did a great job. She was funny. She changed characters too. She went from, obviously, she changed characters and went to Dr. Evil later. And I just thought it was really, really great. Like, she did an amazing job. Really, really great job. Then we get Mo as Billy Porter. For me, I liked it. It was a little bit one note. Again, Mo has not had the best track record in Snatch Game, but I don't think it's the worst. I think it's pretty safe for the night. Yeah. Alright, so those were the Snatch Games. Let's go ahead and get to this runway. The theme was Let to Be a Lady. So we have some looks to critique and go over. Alright, so first I'm going to talk about Blue Hydrangea. I love this look. I love the leprechaun, but make it fashion. Like, that was really great. Her makeup was gorgeous. Her wig was gorgeous. The dress was great. Honestly, this was one of my favorite looks of the night. There were 3 favorite looks of the night, and this was one of them. I just thought this was so well put together, and a really, really great job. And then we get Bag of Shits. If you ask me, this was a bag of shite. This was awful. This is like the Wish version of what you get for Blue's look. Like, this was like something you would get from... No, not even Wish. Like, no, I'll stick with Wish. It was the Wish version of Blue's look. Like, this was so bad. I did not like this at all. The wig was okay. The dress was garbage. Garbage. But, again, like... The character saved her Snatch Game definitely was one of the best of the night, so I get it. But I think with this look, maybe for me, I would have put Bagga on the bottom just because of this look. Like, the look was awful, if we are being real here. Awful. Anyways, I'm just telling you how it is. Next, I'm going to talk about Mo Hart. I love this look. I love that she incorporated lights into it. I thought that was so fun. I love the colors. The makeup was gorgeous. The headpiece was gorgeous. It was a gag when she walked out. And then when she lit it up, like, bitch, this was a gag. This was so good. I love this look from Mo. Like, such a good look. Every single week, Mo has been knocking it out on the runway. And this was no exception. This was great. Then, of course, we get Jujubee. Alright. So I said Bagga was the worst of the night. Juju is in competition with Bagga for worst. No, Juju was the worst of the night. Bagga was close second. This was awful. I mean, 100% honest with you guys, this was awful. The wig was bad. The dress was bad. I hated this look. I really, really hated this look. And I'm like, Juju, if you're going to do like the Lucky Cat sort of thing, go for it. Make it bigger. Make it... It's All-Stars. And you are coming back in this? Are you kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? But, Juju, like, what? What is this? What is this? Let me know what you think down below. Like, come on, Juju. Alright, so their last 2 looks were obviously Janie and Pangina. For Janie's look, I did not like this. Okay, it was safe for the look-wise, but the back piece felt like a poster board, right? It looked like a poster board that was just flopping in the wind behind her. And I feel like she needed more structure on it and a little bit more... Almost make it more 3-dimensional, because it felt very flat. And then you have other people who brought in, like, really cool looks, like Pangina, which we'll get to next. Like, this was probably, for me with this look, I would have eliminated Janie over Pangina. Actually, we'll get to that in a second. But, with this look, this wasn't it. I liked what she was going for. It wasn't the worst of the night. It was probably the bottom 3. It was the third from, yeah, in terms of looks, it would go Janie, honestly, Blue and Bagga and Juju are tied for worst look, yeah. Anyways, Janie was fine. It wasn't the best. It wasn't the worst. We'll stick with that. And then finally we get Pangina. Pangina looked amazing. I love this look. Having the slot machine in front was so fun. And the gold coins falling out from the bottom was a gag. It was a gag. I love that she put actual, like, props into the look. Like, really motion into the look. It was great. It's really, really good. Three-dimensional, like I was saying, as opposed to Janie's, which was just flat to me. If you get what I'm saying with that. I really like Pangina's look. I thought this was great. So, when it comes to placement, obviously RuPaul decides the top 2 this week are going to be Baga and Blue. I do agree with Blue being in the top for sure with the look and everything. I honestly don't know if I would have put Baga in the top because of this look. I don't know who I would put in the top. On the one hand, her Snatch Game was probably one of the best, if not the best. I don't know. Let me know who you would put in the top 2. But obviously, in the end, the top 2 are going to be Blue and Baga, which means everyone else is in the bottom. So for me, the bottom 4 being obviously Juju, Pangina, Mo, and Janie. When it comes to, we'll go and get into deliberation. They're all deliberate, they're all talking to the queens. Obviously, this deliberation was a lot longer than they have been in the past, because obviously there were 4 queens in the bottom. So the deliberation felt like it took half the episode. Honestly, it felt like that to me. But, in terms of choosing who to send home, I probably would have sent home either Janie or Juju, because Janie was probably the worst of the night, because her Snatch Game was pretty bad, and her look didn't make up for it. So in terms of Snatch Game, I think Janie had one of the worst, if not Pangina. I think they were close, but I probably would have sent home Janie for that, or Juju, because that look was awful. That look was so bad. Honestly, probably one of the worst looks of the night. And I'm just like, Juju, I expect so much more from you, and you aren't delivering it. So for me, those are my bottom 2. Let me know who you would have put in the bottom, who you would have chosen down below. I probably would have ended up sending home Janie, just because Snatch Game was worse. I don't know. Let me know who you would have sent home down below. But, obviously, now we get to the lip sync between Baga and Blue. Alright, so Baga and Blue are lip syncing to Let It Go. This lip sync was okay. It wasn't my favorite lip sync. I do agree with the winner in the end, but overall I think the lip sync was kind of a letdown compared to last week. Let me know what you think down below as well. Obviously, in the end though, RuPaul does announce that Blue Hydrangea did win the lip sync, so congratulations to Blue for winning this week's challenge and winning a repeater badge. Great job, Blue. I'm really excited to see where Blue will continue on in this competition. And go. Yeah, work. Which means Baga is safe. And then Blue has to reveal her lipstick. And Blue reveals that she is eliminating Pangina. This moment was heartbreaking. Heartbreaking. Pangina's reaction was gut-wrenching. Like, I felt so bad for Pangina. She was apologizing. This was intense. This was a lot to watch. And the fact that they continued to show her crying, and then they continued to film, and you could hear her crying in the background for the rest of the episode when they were on the main stage, was heart-wrenching. It was so sad to watch. I was having a really hard time watching this. Seeing someone just fully break down on stage and continue to break down in the back, like you can still hear them breaking down. It was so sad. I'm so sad to see Pangina go. Like, Pangina, my heart goes out to you. You are one of my favorite queens from this season. Honestly, I think you were robbed. I feel so bad for Pangina. Like, she had 2 wins. She was doing amazing. And I'm just so devastated that she had to be eliminated on Snatch Game. Like, this is devastating to me. I'm really, really sad to see Pangina go. Let me know. Obviously, that does bring the end of this review. Let me know what you thought about this episode down below. Obviously, we are at a top 5 now. I cannot believe Jujubee is still there. This is her 3rd week in the bottom. Why did she not go home? Let me know who you would have sent home down below in the comment section. Make sure you're following me on social media as well. Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at SamateurHour. I am everywhere. And yeah, like this video if you liked it. Comment down below. Share it on social media. Hit that subscribe button. Come join the Amateur Hour community. And I'll see y'all later. Have a good rest of your night. Bye.